Chapter 1566. The ninth layer martial dominator realm expert of the Zhao clan attacked with a terrifying aura. As he lashed out with his palm, a giant palm was formed, shrouding the entire Lu clan's fortress. Boom! The giant palm landed on the defensive formation of the Lu clan fort. The defensive formation shook violently, and only stabilized after a while. It's blocked! It's blocked! Many people in the Lu clan fort were overjoyed. Their defensive formation had blocked the enemy's attack. Humph! How can a broken formation stop me? The ninth layer martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan said coldly. His hand glowed and a long spear appeared in it. It emitted a terrifying aura. A sacred weapon? You have a sacred weapon. Xiang's grandfather yelled in shock. Haha! It's an honor for the Lu clan fort to be destroyed by my sacred weapon. The ninth layer martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan burst into laughter. His true energy surged as he thrust the long spear at the Lu clan fort. Whoosh! The sacred weapon spear seemed to be expanding at an extremely fast speed. Like a pillar that reached the sky, it heavily pierced the defensive array of the Lu castle. Boom! The defensive formation of the Lu clan fort shook violently. Crack! In the end, a crack appeared on the defensive formation of the Lu clan fort. The crack grew bigger and bigger, until it exploded with a loud bang. The defensive formation of the Lu clan fort had been destroyed. Everyone in the Lu family fort was as pale as a sheet of paper. Now that the Lu clan fort had lost all their experts, how could they fight against the Zhao clan fort without the defensive formation? Was the Lu clan fort going to be wiped out? Master, Lu Ming, please take Xiang away. You're a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. The Zhao clan won't dare to touch you. Lu Wanjuan's face was pale. She looked at Lu Ming pleadingly. She only hoped to save Xiang's life. Lu Ming shook his head. You don't want to? Lu Wanjun despaired. Just ask the Zhao clan to leave. Lu Ming said. Lu Wanjuan's eyes lit up. Those of the Lu clan are stubborn. Kill them. The ninth layer martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan destroyed the defensive formation of the Lu clan fort with a mighty aura. He held the long spear in his hand like a deity. He wanted to take the lives of the Lu clan. His long spear was about to strike the Lu clan fort. The terrifying aura caused Xiang Beila's grandfather, an eighth layer martial dominator realm cultivator, to feel despair. Boom! At that instant, a rock the size of a water tank flew out from the Lu clan's fortress, flying toward the ninth layer martial dominator of the Zhao clan at a terrifying speed. Flames of the Lu Ming's grandfather from the Lu clan fort's Lu clan fort as a meteor. The expression of the ninth level martial emperor of the Zhao family changed. He changed the direction of his holy weapon and thrust it at the stone. Boom! The stone exploded. But the old man of the ninth martial emperor layer of the Zhao clan was forced to take 3 steps back. Who? The martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan royal realm. He was actually forced back 3 steps by a piece of rock. It's me. A clear voice could be heard as Lu Ming stepped into the air and approached the martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan. Lu Ming had casually grabbed a rock from the side and tossed it out. Although it was just an ordinary rock, it contained Lu Ming's vital essence and chaotic domain. It was as heavy as a mountain, and it forced the other party to take 3 steps back. Mr. Lu Ming. Lu Wanjuan's face turned pale. But on second thought, Lu Ming was a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. The Zhao clan would not dare to harm Lu Ming. Kid, who are you? The ninth layer martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan said coldly. You don't have the right to know who I am. Now I'll give the Zhao clan a chance. Take the blood oath and never invade the Lu clan fort again. Then piss off. Lu Ming said calmly. Ha ha ha. Not only did the ninth layer martial royal realm elder from the Zhao clan burst out laughing, Zhao Tianba and the others from the Zhao clan also burst out laughing. Who is this kid? How arrogant, asking us to take the blood oath and piss off. I'm afraid this kid has lost his mind. Ridiculous, leave this kid to me. A 6th layer martial royal realm cultivator. I'll kill him with a single move. The crowd of the Zhao clan burst out laughing mockingly. Who is he? Many people in the Lu clan fort exchanged glances with one another. Patriarch, his name is Lu Ming, a disciple of the Dragon God Valley. He even has Xiang as his disciple. The middle-aged man who had led the way for Lu Ming came up to Xiang Xiang's grandfather and whispered, "A disciple of the Dragon God Valley." Xiang Xiang's grandfather's eyes flickered, before he let out a sigh and said, "Unfortunately, his cultivation is too weak. He's only a 6th-layer martial royal realm cultivator. However, since he's a disciple of the Dragon God Valley, the Zhao clan would not dare to harm him. If a battle breaks out later, ask him to bring Xiang Xiang away." He had the same thought as Lu Wanjun, which was to bring Xiang Xiang away. A 6th-layer martial royal realm cultivator was too weak to turn the tide. "It seems like you're not leaving?" Lu Ming said calmly. "Nonsense, today. The Lu clan fort will not leave a single person alive. No, the young woman will stay." The 9th-layer martial royal realm expert of the Zhao clan said coldly. "Sigh. I didn't want to kill anyone during this period, but you all insisted on dying." Lu Ming let out a sigh all of a sudden. It was true that he did not want to kill anyone during this period, as killing someone would require him to unleash his murderous intent. Unleashing his murderous intent would strengthen his murderous intent. His main goal was to erase the murderous intent deep within his soul. However, it seemed like he had no choice but to kill someone now. Shameless boasting, "I'll kill you first." The 9th-layer martial royal realm expert of the Zhao clan snapped, and stabbed at Lu Ming with a sacred spear in his hand. "Watch out!" Xiang Xiang's grandfather, Lu Wanjun, and the others blurted out. Buzz! Meanwhile, the black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. A dragon cry could be heard as the black dragon spear lashed out. A spear glow collided with the opponent's spear. At the moment of the collision, Lu Ming executed the 13 accumulating blows, stacking them together. A terrifying force penetrated the opponent's spear and penetrated his body, causing him to let out a cry of agony as his figure was knocked backward, while vomiting mouthfuls of blood. The hand holding the spear exploded due to the terrifying force. With Lu Ming's current cultivation of the 6th-layer martial royal realm, it was easy for him to deal with an ordinary 9th-layer martial royal realm expert. "Die!" Lu Ming uttered a roar as a terrifying murderous intent encapsulated his opponent's figure. At the same time, he executed the godly sword art and stabbed his opponent's spiritual spirit. The opponent let out a cry of agony, feeling as if his soul was being torn apart. Whoosh! The spear glow pierced through the sky and penetrated the dantian of the 9th-layer martial royal realm expert of the Zhao clan, destroying his spiritual spirit. The man let out a cry of agony before his corpse fell to the ground. Dead. A 9th-layer martial royal realm expert with a sacred weapon had been killed by Lu Ming in just 2 moves. The place fell into a dead silence. Lu Ming nodded and entered the Lu family fort with Lu Jinghao and the others. Lu Jinghao immediately ordered for a banquet to be prepared to celebrate Xiang Xiang's apprenticeship. After the banquet, Lu Ming, Lu Jinghao, Lu Wanjun and the higher-ups of the Lu family fort sat on both sides of the hall. Of course, little Xiang Xiang was beside Lu Wanjun as well. The higher-ups of the Lu family were very happy. Now that Xiang Xiang had become Lu Ming's apprenticeship, she had established a connection with the Dragon God Valley. In the future, with the Dragon God Valley as her backing, no one would dare to touch the Lu family fort in this area. "Xiang Xiang, come here." Lu Ming looked at Xiang Xiang. Xiang Xiang obediently came to Lu Ming's side. A storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand, and he put it on Xiang Xiang's finger. He said, "I still have some matters to attend to during this period of time. I can't bring you back to the Dragon God Valley to cultivate for the time being. There are some spiritual medicines and elixirs in here that can aid your cultivation. There are also some spiritual weapons and inscription scrolls. Keep them for your own use." "Thank you, Master," Xiang Xiang said obediently. I'll be back in a year's time and bring you back to the Dragon God Valley." After saying that, Lu Ming's body glowed, and he tapped Xiang Xiang's forehead 3 times. He said, "I've left 3 marks on your body. Each mark has the power of a full blow from me. If anyone tries to harm you, the marks will appear and kill the enemy." His words made some of the Lu family members' hearts skip a beat. They knew that Lu Ming's words were meant for them. Lu Ming had just given Xiang Xiang a storage ring. With his status, he would definitely give her a lot of things. It was inevitable that some people would be greedy, But his words made some people's greed disappear completely. Patriarch Lu, I'll be staying in the Lu family fort for a few days. First, I'll bring Xiang Xiang to cultivate and teach her a lesson. Second, I know a little about the way of inscription. In these few days, I'll set up a large formation around the Lu family fort. Even a half-saint would not be able to break it in a short period of time. Lu Ming looked at Lu Jinghao. Lu Jinghao was overjoyed and thanked Lu Ming repeatedly. Xiang Xiang, come with me. Then, Lu Ming held Xiang Xiang's hand, took a step forward and disappeared. After a while, Lu Ming brought Xiang Xiang to a mountain peak not far away. Then Lu Ming's glabella glowed and Ming Lian's second body walked out. Xiang Xiang looked at the two identical Lu Ming in surprise. Her dark eyes were filled with curiosity. Ming Lian's second body smiled and took a step forward. He appeared around the Lu family fort and began to inscribe a defensive formation. He was doing his best because he felt guilty toward the Lu family fort. Secondly, Xiang Xiang would be staying in the Lu family fort for a year. He was also thinking about Xiang Xiang's safety. Ming Lian's second body began to inscribe the formation, while Lu Ming's main body began to teach Xiang Xiang how to cultivate. Before this, Xiang Xiang had not started cultivating, and her bloodline had not awakened. Now the first step was to help Xiang Xiang awaken her bloodline and enter the first level of cultivation, the illuminating pulse level. Xiang Xiang, sit properly and do as I say, Lu Ming instructed. Xiang Xiang obediently sat on the ground with her legs crossed. Lu Ming circulated his true origin and tapped on Xiang Xiang's body a few hundred times. Streams of true origin entered Xiang Xiang's body. After a while, Xiang Xiang's body began to emit a green glow. At this moment, Lu Ming saw a shocking scene. The grass around Xiang Xiang began to grow wildly. After a while, the grass grew taller than Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Xiang Xiang were drowned in the grass. Lu Ming's true origin trembled, and the grass turned into powder. However, grass continued to grow from the ground. The green glow on Xiang Xiang's body became increasingly stronger. Buzz! At this moment, a ball of green light flew out from Xiang Xiang's spine. On the green ball of light, there were 9 golden chakras that shone brightly, a divine bloodline of the 9th level. Lu Ming had a dumbfounded look on his face. There was no doubt that this ball of light was a bloodline. But wasn't this the number 1 bloodline? Why was it a divine bloodline of the 9th level? It had directly reached the highest level. What was going on? Lu Ming's spiritual awareness entered Xiang Xiang's body and carefully sensed it. Amazing, truly amazing. It seems that there is only one type of bloodline. Lu Ming's current cultivation was very high. In addition, he had the secret technique to see through talent in the 9 dragons' memories. Naturally, he could sense it very clearly. Chapter 1568. Whoosh whoosh. After Xiang Xiang's bloodline appeared, wisps of green energy gathered around the mountain peak and entered Xiang Xiang's body. They began to connect the meridians in Xiang Xiang's body. Soon, a ray of light shot up into the sky. This is the first divine vein. So fast. Lu Ming was slightly surprised. But then a second ray of light and a third ray of light rushed out. All 3 divine veins were opened. Lu Ming was speechless. This speed was too shocking. Thinking back, when Lu Ming had just stepped into the martial Tao, he had spent a lot of effort to open 3 divine veins. He had even used the true battle dragon art to open them. But now, in just a few minutes, Xiang Xiang had opened all 3 divine veins. After opening all 3 divine veins, Xiang Xiang's cultivation naturally entered the first realm of the martial warrior realm, the martial warrior realm. She reached the first stage of the martial warrior realm. But all of this was far from over. Between heaven and earth, there was a constant stream of green energy that entered Xiang Xiang's body. Xiang Xiang naturally used the universal scripture to absorb and refine the energy. Her petite body was completely enveloped in a ball of green light. She can use the universal scripture so quickly? Lu Ming was getting more and more surprised. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The energy between heaven and earth was constantly being refined by Xiang Xiang. Xiang Xiang's aura was getting stronger and stronger. Her cultivation was also increasing crazily. First stage martial warrior, second stage martial warrior, Third stage martial warrior. In less than half a day, Xiang Xiang's cultivation had reached the 9th stage of the martial warrior realm. Then after a while, Xiang Xiang's body emitted a rumbling sound. She had broken through and reached the 1st stage of the martial master realm. Lu Ming was already numb. She had just started cultivating, and her cultivation had reached the 1st stage of the martial master realm in just over half a day. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed it. Talent, this was talent. Lu Ming's own talent was far inferior to Xiang Xiang's. Lu Ming grinned from ear to ear. He knew that he had picked up a treasure. This disciple's future achievements would probably be extremely shocking. At this time, Xiang Xiang's cultivation finally stopped rising, and she opened her eyes. Huh? Is this my bloodline? With a thought, Xiang Xiang's bloodline flew in front of her. Xiang Xiang looked at it curiously. Then with just a thought, her bloodline would fly into her spine and hide there. Then it would emerge and hide again. She was having a lot of fun. How wonderful. My body. Xiang Xiang took a step forward and was several meters away. Then green true essence spread out from her body and grass grew under her feet. Xiang Xiang, in the future, try not to reveal your bloodline and cultivation in front of others. Do you understand? Lu Ming warned. Xiang Xiang's current cultivation was still weak. If she revealed too much, she would probably be targeted by people with ulterior motives. Xiang Xiang understands. Xiang Xiang nodded obediently. In the following time, Lu Ming began to impart his cultivation experience and a few martial skills that were more suitable for Xiang Xiang. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. Xiang Xiang's progress was too shocking. It was as if she was advancing 1 level a day. 7 days later, Xiang Xiang's cultivation had reached the 7th level of the martial master realm. However, as her cultivation increased, Xiang Xiang's improvement finally slowed down. At this time, the formation to refine the second body was finally completed. It was also time for Lu Ming to leave. Lu Ming brought Xiang Xiang back to the Lu family castle. He found Lu Wanjun and Lu Jinghao and handed Xiang Xiang over to them. Master, Xiang Xiang is waiting for you to come and fetch me. Xiang Xiang blinked her big black eyes and looked at Lu Ming. Of course. Lu Ming patted Xiang Xiang's little head, and then bade farewell to Lu Jinghao and Lu Wanjun before leaving the Lu family castle. Whoosh whoosh. Lu Ming allowed the strong wind to blow on his face, as he transformed into a beam of light, and disappeared into the distance in the blink of an eye. After passing through layers of mountains, a city began to appear. Lu Ming's body also began to change, turning into an ordinary dark-skinned young man. Now that he was targeted by the evil spirit sect, he naturally had to be more careful on this trip. It was safest to disguise himself. He had no goal on this trip, and was traveling casually. Sometimes, he would feel something and sit on the peak of a mountain, watching the sun rise in the east and set in the west. He would watch the clouds move and fill the sky with multicolored light. He sat there for a month. During this process he did not cultivate. Instead, he emptied his mind and forgot everything, as if he had become one with nature. After a month he left this place. Lu Ming sat cross-legged at the mouth of a volcano, allowing the flames to burn his body and extinguish the killing intent in the depths of his heart and soul. He was like an old monk in meditation. Another month passed. Then, he came to a land of ice and snow and casually lay on a glacier. He allowed the snow to cover his body, but he slept soundly. This sleep lasted for another month. Just like that, Lu Ming traveled all over the Tsang state, enjoying different sceneries. His mind and body were emptied and merged with nature. Time flew. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. The Feng family village was a very small village. There were only a few dozen families in the village, and it was located in the far west of the Tsang state. Chapter 1569. Phoenix Incense Wood. This little village has so much phoenix incense wood. Lu Ming exclaimed in his heart. The wood had a faint pattern on it, which resembled a phoenix. It was a very precious spiritual wood, the phoenix incense wood. The phoenix incense wood would emit a faint fragrance. Martial cultivators would often carry it with them, as it could calm their minds and prevent them from having inner demons. It was extremely helpful in comprehending one's cultivation. Although it was incomparable to the Tree of Enlightenment, it was still a precious treasure. This little village had quite a lot of the spiritual wood. Some of the villagers even used it to make furniture, which was quite luxurious. Lu Ming had collected quite a lot of phoenix incense, wood for the carpenters. Lu Ming had carved them into statues and accessories, which he planned to give to his friends and family. It would be very helpful to his cultivation. A year is almost up. It's time to leave and return to the Dragon God Valley in a few days. Lu Ming thought. He enjoyed his life in this little village, which was worth remembering. However, he had to leave this place eventually, as he did not belong here. After nearly a year, Lu Ming had completely obliterated the murderous intent in the depths of his soul. His gaze was gentle and pure, like a pool of clear spring water. He had not purposely cultivated for the past year. However, his cultivation was still improving slowly. Currently, his cultivation had reached the peak 6th layer martial dominator realm. His chaos domain had also reached the peak 6th layer. He had not purposely comprehended the chaos domain, but it was not in vain. He felt that he was in perfect harmony with the heavens and earth. As for the chaos domain, it was also comprehended from the heavens and earth. He felt that he would be able to improve his chaos domain to the 7th layer in no time. Furthermore, due to his harmony with the heavens and earth, it would be faster for him to comprehend the chaos domain. Brother Lu Lingling, it's time for dinner. A slightly aged voice could be heard. It was the voice of the village chief, Feng Ling's grandfather. Coming, Grandpa. Feng Ling replied and pulled Lu Ming along. Brother Lu, come, let's eat. Grandpa has prepared a few jars of good wine. Lu Ming put away the statue of Xian Yinqing and followed Feng Ling into the village chief's residence. Girl, you want to drink again, right? A white-haired old man in his 60s glanced kindly at Feng Ling and scolded her. Grandpa, just a little, just a little. Feng Ling ran in front of the old man and pulled his arm, shaking it with all her might. Good, good, you little girl. The old man lovingly rubbed Feng Ling's head. The three of them sat down, and the village chief poured 3 cups of wine for them to eat and drink. Whoosh! At that instant, a bird's cry could be heard coming from the heavens and earth. The 3 of them couldn't help but look towards the north. It's calling again. The phoenix is calling again. It's been half a month. I'm afraid this area won't be peaceful anymore. The village chief sighed. Grandpa, is there really a divine phoenix residing in the Tianfeng Plains? Feng Ling asked curiously. That's right. Legend has it that there is indeed a divine phoenix residing in the Tianfeng Plains. The village chief said. Grandpa, why do I feel that the phoenix's cry sounds like a cry of despair? Feng Ling asked. Sai, that's what I feel too. I don't know what happened, but I hope that nothing bad will happen. The village chief sighed and seemed to be worried. A divine phoenix? Lu Ming also looked to the north and frowned. The Tianfeng Plains was one of the 6 forbidden grounds in Song Province. This small village was not far from the Tianfeng Plains. According to the village chief, the phoenix incense wood came from the Tianfeng Plains. But since half a month ago, the cries of phoenixes could be heard coming from the Tianfeng Plains from time to time. They were filled with despair and indignation. Swoosh! Swoosh! A few rainbow lights flashed across the sky in the north. Finally, there are martial Dao experts who are attracted here. The village chief sighed as he saw the rainbow lights. Soon, the 3 of them finished eating and drinking. Night fell. In the night sky, Lu Ming stood in midair, looking toward the north. Whoosh! Whoosh! Rainbow lights flashed across the sky in the north from time to time like shooting stars. Every rainbow light was a martial Dao expert. Lu Ming watched for a while before returning to the wooden house to rest. In the next few days, the cries of phoenixes could be heard continuously. More and more experts came to this place. He could even see groups of experts whizzing across the sky. The cries of phoenixes had been going on for half a month. There must be something unusual. Some experts nearby would naturally come to check it out. On the morning of the 3rd day, Lu Ming flew to the north. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the periphery of the Tianfeng Plains. Standing in the sky and looking at the Tianfeng Plains, it was a spectacular sight. The heavenly wind plains was filled with endless gales. Tornadoes the size of mountains howled, and moved within the heavenly wind plains, piercing through the sky. There were countless giant tornadoes scattered across the vast Tianfeng plains. These tornadoes were extremely terrifying. Even Sage Realm experts would be shredded to pieces if they were sucked in. Many Sage Realm experts had tried to explore the Tianfeng plains, but they had all died inside. Therefore, the Tianfeng plains was known as one of the 6 great forbidden lands in Song province. However, the strange thing was that the tornadoes seemed to only move within a certain range. It was very peaceful outside the Tianfeng plains. It was like 2 different worlds. Many people stood in the sky outside the Tianfeng plains, looking at the Tianfeng plains. However, no one dared to enter. The Desire Poison sect and the Heavenly God sect. Lu Ming muttered. He realized that the Desire Poison sect and the Heavenly God sect had the most experts here. This was to be expected. The Desire Poison sect and the Heavenly God sect were located in the western part of Song province. Naturally, they would have the most people here. Other than that, there were also some scattered experts from small forces. At this moment, some uninvited guests had arrived in the small mountain village. They were a few burly men. They hovered above the village chief's wooden house with arrogant expressions. Their powerful auras enveloped the village chief and Feng Ling, making them feel as if a mountain was pressing down on them. Judging from their clothes, they were obviously from the Heavenly God sect. Old man, I'll ask you a few questions. Answer me honestly. A middle-aged man with a cold and arrogant gaze looked down at the village chief and ordered. Yes. My lords, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. This old man will definitely tell you everything he knows. The village chief quickly bowed and nodded. Chapter 1570. The middle-aged man seemed to be satisfied with the village chief's attitude. He nodded and said, Since you all live here, do you know when the phoenix's cry started in the Tianfeng plains? About half a month ago. It was very loud then, but it seems to be getting weaker now. The village chief answered honestly. Oh, half a month ago. Do you have any legends about the Tianfeng plains in your village? Tell me in detail. The middle-aged man instructed. The village chief told them about the legends of the Tianfeng plains in detail. After the village chief finished, the Sky Divinity sect members frowned and fell into deep thought. They then scanned the village chief's courtyard, hoping to find some clues. Suddenly, the middle-aged man's eyes lit up. He stepped out and appeared in front of a chair in the courtyard. He looked at it carefully and was surprised. Phoenix incense wood. This is actually made of phoenix incense wood. Phoenix incense wood is actually used to make a chair. What a waste. With that, he waved his hand and kept the chair. The other middle-aged men were envious and looked around. That chair is also made of phoenix incense wood. And this steamer is also made of phoenix incense wood. The middle-aged men's eyes lit up. They moved quickly and kept all these things. Haha, the bed inside is also made of phoenix incense wood. The young man laughed and was about to rush into the room. Hey, why are you acting like bandits? That's my bed. Where am I supposed to sleep if you take it away? Feng Ling could not help but shout. What did you say? The middle-aged man turned around, and a powerful aura pressed down on Feng Ling. Feng Ling's body trembled, and she stepped back. Blood flowed out of her mouth. However, Feng Ling was extremely stubborn and wanted to say something again. The village chief quickly went forward and stopped Feng Ling. He cupped his fists and bowed to the Sky Divinity sect members. Please forgive her. My granddaughter is young and insensible. You are all heroes. Please don't lower yourself to her level. Keep her mouth shut. Otherwise, she won't even know how she died. The middle-aged man said coldly. The village chief nodded. The middle-aged man walked into the room and took away Feng Ling's bed. Bang! At this time, in another part of the village, a wooden house suddenly collapsed. Smoke and dust filled the air as several green-robed youths took away a wooden pillar. It was clear that other than the celestial sect's large man and a few others, there were others who came to the village and discovered the phoenix incense wood. There's more in the other houses. Let's go. Don't let the poison sect take everything. When the Heavenly Divinity sect's men saw this, they hurriedly rushed to the other villagers' houses. In their eyes, this village was simply a treasure trove. Before anyone else discovered it, they had to plunder it clean. A few burly men from the celestial sect rushed to the houses of the other villagers and began to plunder without restraint. When a villager tried to stop them, they were sent flying with a slap. "Grandpa, what kind of sect are these disciples of? They're like bandits." Feng Ling felt indignant. Sigh. The world of martial arts has always been one where the strong prey on the weak. Village chief sighed. In the next moment, his expression changed greatly as he cried out, "Not good, that's the ancestral hall." After saying that, the village head hurriedly rushed towards the largest stone house. Feng Ling hurriedly followed. At this time, the burly men from the celestial sect and the green-robed youths had already arrived in front of the stone house. The memorial tablets inside are actually made of phoenix incense wood. "We're rich, we're rich." A burly man from the celestial sect cried out in surprise. "That's ours." The green-robed youth's eyes lit up. "Don't even think about it. We found it first." The middle-aged man from the celestial sect said. They strode forward and were about to rush into the stone house. Sirs, wait a moment." The village head rushed over and stopped in front of the stone house. He bowed repeatedly. "Old man, what are you doing? Why aren't you scramming?" The middle-aged man berated. "Sirs, the memorial tablets of our ancestors are in there. Please don't take them away. This old man is begging you." The village head knelt down and kowtowed repeatedly. The memorial tablets of the ancestors of the village were placed in the stone house. He could take everything else, but he could not allow anyone to take those memorial tablets away. Otherwise, how could he face his ancestors? "Old man, scram." The middle-aged man kicked the village head out and smashed the wall of the stone house. The village head lay on the ground and vomited blood. "Grandpa!" Feng Ling shouted and rushed to the village head. She helped him up and was relieved when she saw that the village head was only injured. She then glared at the burly men and scolded. "You're the disciples of a big sect. You're no different from robbers. No, you're worse than robbers. How dare you snatch the memorial tablets of other people's ancestors? Little bitch, what did you say? You're courting death." The middle-aged man exuded a cold killing intent. He took a step forward and appeared in front of Feng Ling. He slapped his palm towards Feng Ling. The middle-aged man had used some of his strength in this slap. With Feng Ling's cultivation, she would definitely die from this slap. However, the middle-aged man's palm was caught by a big hand halfway through. A black-faced young man appeared in front of Feng Ling and grabbed the middle-aged man's wrist. The black-faced young man was naturally Lu Ming. He had gone to the outskirts of the Tianfeng Plains to check on the situation. He did not find anything unusual and returned to the village. Young Master Luo shouted coldly and led the other young men and the middle-aged men towards the small village in an aggressive manner. When the others nearby saw this, they revealed curious expressions. The Heavenly God sect's people are so aggressive. What are they trying to do? Did someone offend the Heavenly God sect? Looking at their direction, it seems to be that small village. Interesting, let's go and take a look. Let's go and take a look. There were many people in the vicinity who followed young Master Luo and the others towards the small village. In the small village, in the village chief's courtyard, Lu Ming sat on a chair with his eyes closed. On the other hand, the village chief and Feng Ling seemed somewhat anxious. They were afraid of the Heavenly God sect's revenge. Suddenly, Lu Ming opened his eyes and said coldly, "They're here." The village chief's face turned pale. Whoosh, whoosh. From the north, young Master Luo and the others stepped into the air and arrived above the village chief's courtyard. They looked down at Lu Ming and the others from above. "You're the one who injured the people of my Heavenly God sect?" Young Master Luo stared coldly at Lu Ming. "That's right." Lu Ming replied indifferently. "It's fine as long as it's you. Kill yourself, so that I don't have to take action." Young Master Luo said coldly. Hee hee. Qin Nan let out a hollow laugh and ignored young Master Luo's words. He glanced at the middle-aged bulky men behind young Master Luo and said, "I've already said that if you dare to come again, I'll kill you. It seems like you don't take my words seriously." "Humph, kid, don't be so full of yourself. You're the one who will die today." The middle-aged man snapped. "Is that so?" Lu Ming's eyes flickered with sharpness. "How bold." Young Master Luo snapped coldly as his body emitted an icy murderous intent. A powerful aura burst out from his body and encapsulated the entire village. Lu Ming dared to disregard him. A mere scum of a small village, a lowly ant, dared to disregard him. He was the new genius of the Heavenly God sect, with the cultivation of the peak 6th layer martial dominator realm. The aura of the peak 6th layer martial dominator realm encapsulated the entire village, causing some of the villagers to drop to their knees in fear. I'm telling you, I'm not from this village. You can come to me if you need anything. It has nothing to do with the villagers here. Lu Ming snapped coldly. Nothing to do with you? I'm telling you, not only are you going to die today, these lowly ants will all die too. Young Master Luo snapped coldly. Bang! A gigantic palm materialized and descended from the sky. It covered the entire sky and enveloped the entire village. He was planning to raise the village to the ground with a single palm. Bang! At that instant, Lu Ming was infuriated. An icy murderous intent burst out from his body. He had been holding back, as he was worried about the safety of the villagers. Previously, he had not killed the middle-aged bulky men, as he was worried about the safety of the villagers. However, it seemed like it was useless for a sect like the Heavenly God sect to hold back. The only way was to kill them until they were intimidated, allowing them to retreat. Bang! Lu Ming lashed out a punch, causing a fist intent to rise into the sky and shatter the giant palm into pieces. Lu Ming sprang into the sky and charged toward young Master Luo and his crew. A powerful aura was unleashed toward them. I've given you a chance, but you're asking for it. Lu Ming snapped coldly. 6th layer martial dominator realm, humph, no wonder you're so arrogant. However, I'm telling you, there's a huge difference between our strength, even though we're at the same cultivation level. Young Master Luo said. A godly retribution spear appeared in his hand. He took a step forward and thrust the godly retribution spear at Lu Ming. However, he was greeted with a punch from Lu Ming. When the fist landed on the spear of divine retribution, the spear of divine retribution crumbled. The terrifying fist energy broke through young Master Luo's defense and landed on his dantian, penetrating it with a single punch. You! Young Master Luo stared with his eyes open wide. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He could not understand how an ordinary young man he had met in a small village could be so terrifying. He was able to kill him with a single blow, even though he was at the same cultivation level as him. He was a genius of the Heavenly God sect. How dare you? The other young men and the middle-aged men were so scared that their faces turned pale, and they stammered as they spoke. Chapter 1572. Kill! Lu Ming shouted coldly. His eyes were like lightning, and his killing intent was like a knife as he charged towards the other young men. His fist radiance seemed to be able to crush everything. The young men did not even have time to scream before they were killed. Then, Lin Fan glanced at the middle-aged men coldly. The middle-aged men were covered in cold sweat, and their faces were pale. Spare my life, spare my life. The arrogant middle-aged man was the first to kneel down, and his body was trembling. I have said before that if you come again, I will kill you. However, you did not take my words to heart. You brought about your own destruction. Lu Ming said coldly. Then he slammed his palm down. The middle-aged men were only low-level martial emperors. How could they stop Lin Fan? They were slapped to death. What a powerful move. Not far away, the other people who had come to watch the show were also amazed. They did not expect the people of a small village to be so bold and powerful. They killed the people of the Heavenly God sect easily. There were even a few geniuses among them. There will be a good show. The people of the Heavenly God sect are not the only ones here. There are many experts who have come. I am afraid they will go crazy. That's right. The people of the Heavenly God sect will come soon. The people discussed and left the place. They are all dead. The village chief was dumbfounded. Then he became worried. They had killed so many people of the Heavenly God sect. The Heavenly God sect would definitely come for revenge. What should I do? The village chief was worried. Village chief, do you want to move to another place to live? Lu Ming asked. The strength of this small village was too weak. In this martial world, it could be destroyed at any time. Just like today. If it were not for Lu Ming, Feng Ling would have been killed. In that case, the village chief would not be able to survive. In the end, if the arrogant middle-aged men were angered, the entire village would be destroyed. This was because the village did not have strong martial strength. However, it had the phoenix incense wood. It had not been discovered in the past. Now that it had been discovered, it was only a matter of time before it was destroyed. This was the sorrow of the weak. Grandpa, let's leave this place, Feng Ling advised. Sai, we also want to leave, but in the Tsang province, there are powerful vicious beasts everywhere. Just one emperor-level vicious beast can easily destroy our village. But here we are close to the Heavenly Wind Plains. The Heavenly Wind Plains has a phoenix that can intimidate hundreds of vicious beasts. That's why we are safe. As for those big cities, if we want to live in them, we need to spend a lot of origin stones. How can we have so many origin stones? The village chief sighed. It was not that they did not want to leave, but that they had nowhere to go. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said, Village chief, I have a Grotto Heaven treasure. You can enter the Grotto Heaven treasure first. Then I will bring you to a place. There were only a few dozen families in this village. Lu Ming planned to send them to the Lu Clan fort. The Lu Clan fort was extremely spacious. Just a small plot of land was enough to house a few dozen families. Grotto Heaven treasure. The village chief revealed a look of astonishment. It seemed that this little brother Lu before him had a shocking background. All right, I will call all the villagers here. We will have to trouble you later. The village chief bowed to Lu Ming, then hurriedly left to call the other villagers. Lu Ming waved his hand and kept all the villagers into the mountain river diagram. Then Lu Ming waited there quietly. At this time, the news of a powerful villager killing a few Heavenly Divinity sect geniuses had already spread in the periphery of the Heavenly Wind Plains. Such a powerful villager, the Heavenly Divinity sect will definitely seek revenge. Let's go and take a look. Let's go. Streaks of light whizzed through the air. One by one, figures came to the small village and stood around it. And no one? Did they escape? No, there is one person. Many people looked around and finally fixed their eyes on Lu Ming. Senior brother, senior sister. Lu Ming swept his gaze across the crowd and actually found a familiar face. Tianshui and Xuanningshin. The Divine Dragon Valley was quite far away from here. He did not expect Tianshui and Xuanningshin to be here. Tianshui and Xuanningshin, like the others, stood in the distance and looked at Lu Ming curiously. That is, Emo Yang. Emo Yang is here. What a beautiful woman. Who is that woman? There was a sudden commotion in the crowd, and they all looked in one direction. There were about a dozen people in that direction. There were 2 young men and a young woman, and a dozen old men. Each of them had an extremely powerful aura, and demonic chi was soaring. Nianqing. When he saw one of them, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The beautiful woman among the young men and women was Xian Yanqing. The other person was Emo Yang, one of the top 10 monstrous geniuses in the Zhangzhou. Lu Ming looked at Xian Yanqing, and Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Ming at the same time. When their eyes met, Xian Yanqing was slightly stunned. Then, she smiled and winked at Lu Ming. I've been recognized. Lu Ming smiled. He was too familiar with Xian Yanqing. No matter how a person changed their appearance, aura, and appearance, their eyes would never change. Obviously, Xian Yanqing had recognized Lu Ming through his eyes. Lu Ming shook his head slightly at Xian Yanqing, and Xian Yanqing also nodded slightly. Lu Ming meant not to reveal his identity for the time being. Xian Yanqing naturally understood Lu Ming's meaning. Emo Yang, who was beside Xian Yanqing, seemed to have noticed Xian Yanqing's abnormality. He looked at Lu Ming with a cold and suspicious look in his eyes. The people from the Celestial God sect are here. Someone exclaimed. In the distance, there were at least a dozen figures walking in the air. They were all dressed in white robes and had powerful auras. There were young men, middle-aged men, and old men. The person at the front was bathed in sacred light, as if he was the moon surrounded by stars. Yu Sheng. Lu Ming recognized this person at a glance. A year and a half ago, at the treasure peddling meeting in Song Mountain, Yu Sheng was the leader of the Celestial God sect. He was extremely talented and had amazing combat strength. A year and a half later, Yu Sheng had become even stronger. His powerful aura filled the air and was extremely terrifying. Early stage martial royal realm. This was Yu Sheng's cultivation. It was obvious that Yu Sheng had made rapid progress in the past year and a half. The people from the celestial god sect stood in the sky above the village. They looked around and finally fixed their eyes on Lu Ming. "You're the one who killed the genius of the celestial god sect?" Yu Sheng asked coldly. "That's right." Lu Ming replied indifferently. "How audacious. You're courting death. Where are the other villagers? Where are you hiding? Hand them all over and die." A middle-aged man beside Yu Sheng scolded. He exuded the aura of a peak level 7 martial royal realm cultivation. Hee, as expected of a great sect. How impressive, how domineering. Their disciples came to this remote mountain village to bully ordinary villagers, and even snatch the ancestral tablets of their ancestors. As expected of the self-proclaimed number 1 sect in the Tsang prefecture. Lu Ming sneered. Then, Lu Ming flipped his hand and threw the small knife in his hand again, flying toward another person who had attacked. The man was shocked and tried to block the attack with his sword. However, the powerful force of the knife caused his arm to go numb. Meanwhile, Lu Ming's figure was already charging toward him. Boom! The heavens and earth trembled as the man's body was penetrated. His corpse flew a few thousand meters away and fell to the ground with a heavy thud. He was no longer breathing. Many people gasped when they saw that 2 LV8 martial royal realm experts had been killed in an instant. How powerful! His cultivation is only at the peak of the 6th layer martial royal realm. But his strength is so powerful that he could kill 2 LV8 martial royal realm experts in an instant. His strength is comparable to a top genius. Could he be a top genius? The onlookers discussed among themselves with various guesses. "You're courting death." Yu Sheng's eyes were extremely cold as he stepped forward. A sacred glow filled the air as a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. Many people were startled. Yu Sheng was about to make his move. Yu Sheng was a top genius with a superior earthly spiritual body. His strength was extremely terrifying. Although he was also an 8th layer martial royal realm expert, his strength was many times stronger than the previous 2. Yu Sheng could easily kill them with a single move. "Die!" Yu Sheng yelled as a godly retribution spear appeared in his hand and stabbed toward Lu Ming. The godly retribution spear was extremely sharp and powerful. It was incomparable to the previous one. Boom! Lu Ming's way of fighting was still very simple. He simply threw a punch. A terrifying vibration could be heard as the godly retribution spear in Yu Sheng's hand vibrated vigorously, as if it would shatter at any moment. A terrifying force surged toward Yu Sheng, causing his face to turn pale. Boom! Following this, Lu Ming threw out a punch with his other hand. Yu Sheng's face turned pale as he threw out a punch with his other hand, which collided with Lu Ming's fist. Another explosion took place, causing Yu Sheng's face to turn pale as his figure was knocked backward. He was being suppressed by Lu Ming in a head-on clash. A year and a half ago, Lu Ming's cultivation was 2 layers lower than Yu Sheng's, but he was still able to defeat a genius like Yu Sheng. Not to mention that Lu Ming's cultivation was now at the peak of the 6th layer martial dominator realm, while Yu Sheng was only at the early stage of the 8th layer martial dominator realm. "Die!" Lu Ming bellowed. His fists were like rainbows, constantly blasting toward Yu Sheng. Yu Sheng let out a roar as a sacred glow burst out from his body, trying his best to fight against Lu Ming. After exchanging more than 10 blows, Yu Sheng was forced to back off. "Let's attack together. Let's kill him together." The others of the Heavenly Divinity sect yelled as they dashed forward and surrounded Lu Ming. "Die!" Lu Ming let out a roar as a dragon's cry could be heard from his body. Following a roar, the godly sword art burst out. Those who were charging toward Lu Ming let out cries of agony, as if their souls were being torn apart. On the other hand, the black dragon spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. With a shake of the spear, rays of spear light shot out like lightning. Puff! 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 In an instant, more than 10 experts of the Heavenly Divinity sect were killed by Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, he's Lu Ming!" Yu Sheng's eyes widened as he roared. "What? He's Lu Ming? Kill him! Use the sacred weapons!" The remaining people of the Heavenly Divinity sect roared. "Wang! Wang! A few of them exuded a powerful aura as several sacred weapons appeared, emitting a terrifying radiance. It's Lu Ming. Kill him. Not far away, there were some powerful figures from the Desire Poison sect. At this moment, some of them took out their sacred weapons and charged toward Lu Ming. At this moment, the spectators nearby were a little dumbfounded. Lu Ming? This person is Lu Ming? The Lu Ming who was famous in the Tsang continent a year and a half ago? The Lu Ming who was going to challenge the Divine Prince at the next treasure sorting meeting? He was hiding in a small mountain village at the border. It's Lu Ming Jr. brother attack. Kill. Tian Shui and Xuanningsin were stunned for a moment before they roared and charged forward. Sacred weapons also flew out from their hands and shot out. Boom! Boom! Several experts of the Heavenly Divinity sect were killed. Tian Shui and Xuanningsin's cultivation had improved rapidly. They had both reached the early stage of the rank 8 martial royal realm like Yusheng. I didn't expect to bump into senior brothers and sisters here. Lu Ming also revealed a smile. His body changed back to his original appearance. Lu Ming. A cold voice rang out. Xian Yinqing stepped through the air, like a demoness descending to the world, attracting everyone's attention. So beautiful. Is she the saintess of the Heavenly Demonic sect? I think so. I heard that there's a new saintess in the Heavenly Demonic sect. She's peerless and talented. The sect leader of the Heavenly Demonic sect has taken her in as a disciple and is grooming her. Some people discussed among themselves. Xiaoqing. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The two of them looked into each other's eyes, full of affection. Nothing was said. Tian Shui glanced at Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing and said with a grin, "Haha, junior brother. This must be your sister-in-law. She's so beautiful, a perfect match for you." Junior brother. Why didn't you introduce her to us when she's so beautiful? You're going to be punished. Xuanningsin teased. Haha. Lu Ming smiled and introduced them. Xian Yinqing also bowed politely to Tian Shui and Xuanningsin, causing them to be overjoyed. Junior sister, let's leave this place first. They've killed so many people from the Celestial Divine sect. The Celestial Divine sect won't let this matter rest. We don't want to get involved. At this time a discordant voice was heard. Mo Yang walked over with a cold face. When he looked at Lu Ming, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. You guys leave first. I want to be with Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing said. Junior sister you. Mo Yang's face became even colder. He looked at Lu Ming with intense jealousy, and the murderous intent in his eyes became even colder. When Xian Yinqing had just joined the Heavenly Demonic sect, Mo Yang had been in seclusion. Later, when the treasure sorting convention was about to begin, Mo Yang came out of seclusion. When he saw Xian Yinqing, he was shocked. Moreover, she was his junior sister. In his heart, Xian Yinqing was already his woman. Later, when he heard that Xian Yinqing had a boyfriend, he was suddenly filled with intense jealousy and murderous intent. Therefore, he had taken action to stop Zifeng in Song Mountain. Junior sister, this place is not safe. It's better for me to stay by your side. Mo Yang said as his gaze shifted. This made Xian Yinqing frown. As for Lu Ming, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. How could Lu Ming not see through Mo Yang's thoughts? Sister-in-law has already asked someone to leave, but someone is really thick-skinned, and insists on following her. Isn't he ashamed? Tian Shui sneered. What did you say? Mo Yang asked with a sullen face. Someone knows what I'm talking about. Tian Shui curled his lips. Humph. Mo Yang snorted coldly, then looked at Xian Yinqing and said, Junior sister, you have to think carefully. Our Heavenly Universe Demon Sect and Dragon God Valley belong to different sections. Chapter 1575. There are changes in the Tianfeng Plains. What? Let's go and take a look. At this moment, a piece of news came, and the onlookers all flew towards the Tianfeng Plains. There are changes in the Tianfeng Plains? Lu Ming and the other three were also surprised. Junior brother, shall we go and take a look? Tian Shui said. All right, let's go. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Tian Shui, and Xuan Ningxin immediately flew towards the Tianfeng Plains. Chirp. At this moment, a phoenix cry was heard from the Tianfeng Plains. It was filled with despair and unwillingness. The phoenix cry is getting softer and softer. It seems to be getting weaker and weaker. Lu Ming said. Could it be that the divine phoenix is about to fall, and that's why it keeps crying? Xian Yinqing guessed. It's not impossible, Lu Ming said. Soon, the four of them arrived at the periphery of the Tianfeng Plains. The Tianfeng Plains had a vast territory. Many people were standing in the air at the periphery of the vast plains. Lu Ming and the other three were standing at the back. They were not eye-catching at all. Whoosh whoosh, in the Tianfeng Plains, strong winds howled and huge tornadoes swept across the land. There were many of them, and they were densely packed together. It was a spectacular sight to behold from afar. No one knew how these tornadoes were formed. They seemed to have appeared suddenly 80,000 years ago. Some guessed that there had been a great battle between powerful experts, and they were formed by the power of law. Others speculated that they were formed because of a formation set up inside. There were many different opinions, and no one agreed on the answer. But now, some tornadoes were moving slowly towards the depths of the Tianfeng Plains. As time passed, the number of moving tornadoes increased, and they were all moving in the same direction towards the depths of the Tianfeng Plains. Gradually, the number of tornadoes on the heavenly wind plains decreased, and the place became bustling with activity. At this moment, another phoenix cry was heard, and it seemed to be clearer. The Tianfeng Plains have retreated. Something must have happened inside. There must be treasures in there. Opportunities and dangers coexist in any forbidden land. Now that the Tianfeng Plains have retreated, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Many people were tempted, and their eyes were burning. Whoosh! Suddenly, someone moved and rushed into the Tianfeng Plains. He avoided the remaining tornadoes, and rushed into the depths of the Tianfeng Plains. Seeing that the person was fine, even more people moved. They rushed towards the heavenly wind plains and disappeared from everyone's sight. Let's go in and take a look. It won't be too late to retreat if there's danger. Even more people rushed towards the heavenly wind plains. Riches and honor were sought in the midst of danger. This was even more so for martial arts cultivators. Chapter 1576. If Lu Ming's words were heard by the people of the small sects, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. Holy weapons were the exclusive weapons of the Saint Realm experts. They were very precious, and very few people below the Saint Realm had them. Previously, Lu Ming had only encountered top-notch geniuses who were heavily groomed by their respective sections. Only then did they possess a sacred weapon. Some small sects did not have a sacred weapon. Even if some small sects had a sacred weapon, it was also a cornerstone treasure of the sect. Even in the 13 top sects of the Tsang Prefecture, most of the LV8 and LV9 martial royal realm cultivators used royal spiritual weapons. Many of the half-sages used royal spiritual weapons instead of holy weapons. Myriad Demon's realm. On the other side, Xian Yinqing shouted as her realm spread out. In Xian Yinqing's realm, there was a beautiful demonish shadow sitting cross-legged and suppressing all directions. An old man of LV9 martial royal realm was enveloped by Xian Yinqing's myriad demons realm. He roared as if he had gone mad. Then, Xian Yinqing slapped out, and the old man was killed. Myriad demons realm? It seems that Xiao Qing's combat strength has increased after entering the martial queen realm. Lu Ming was excited. He was happy for Xian Yinqing. No wonder she could be accepted as a pro-disciple of the sect leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect, and become the saintess of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. Xian Yinqing's spiritual body was definitely a superior earthly spiritual body. Lu Ming even felt that Xian Yinqing's body was hiding a terrifying power. While Lu Ming was thinking, Tian Shui and Xuanixin each killed a person. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 people left. Let's go, let's go! The remaining 3 people were almost scared to death and ran away frantically. Lu Ming and the other 2 did not bother to chase them. They knew that these people were from small sects and did not take them seriously. Let's share this piece of phoenix incense wood. Lu Ming grabbed the phoenix incense wood and condensed his genuine qi into a knife. He divided the wood into 4 parts and put them away. Is there a huge phoenix incense tree in the Tianfeng Plains? Tian Shui licked his lips, revealing a fiery glow. The section just now was clearly just a branch. If the branch was so big, then how big would the main trunk be? The divine bird, the phoenix, resides in the Tianfeng Plains. Perhaps it lives on the trunk of the phoenix incense wood. Lu Ming speculated. Then, the 4 of them continued forward. Junior sister. Not long after, a voice was heard as Emo Yang flew over from the side. Lu Ming, Xian Yinqing, Tian Shui, and Xuanixin furrowed their brows. They hadn't expected to meet Emo Yang here. Junior sister, I've finally found you. With a smile on his face, Emo Yang flew over and looked at Xian Yinqing with concern. Everyone rushed over, but no one noticed that Emo Yang's eyes revealed a smug sneer and cold murderous intent. Not good. There's an ambush. Retreat. Just as they approached the phoenix incense wood, Lu Ming inexplicably felt a strong sense of danger. He roared and was about to pull Xian Yinqing and the others back. But it was too late. Figures flashed, and at least a dozen figures rushed out from behind the boulders, surrounding Lu Ming and the others. Yu Sheng, the Celestial God Sect, and the Desire Poison Sect. Lu Ming glanced around and found that one of them was Yu Sheng. The others were not young, and judging from their clothes, there were people from the Celestial God Sect and the Desire Poison Sect. Lu Ming, let's see how you die this time. Yu Sheng's eyes were cold. This brat has killed so many people from the Celestial God Sect. He's really digging his own grave. A white-haired elder from the Celestial God Sect said coldly. An extremely shocking aura erupted from his body. A half-saint. Lu Ming, Tian Shui, Xuanixin, and Xian Yinqing's faces changed drastically. The other party had sent out a half-saint expert. Boom, boom. Then, a few more terrifying auras erupted, and a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming and the others. Half-saints again. The Celestial God Sect and the Desire Poison Sect both had half-saints. In total there were 3 half-saints. Although the 9th level of the Martial Royal Realm was 1 level lower than the half-saints, the gap was huge. With the cultivation of Tian Shui and Xuanixin, who were in the early 8th level of the Martial Royal Realm, they could kill an ordinary peak 9th level of the Martial Royal Realm. However, they were no match for a half-saint. Moreover, there were 3 half-saints. Chapter 1577. Obviously, the Celestial Sect and the Poison Desire clan were determined to kill Lu Ming and the others this time. Moreover, in the Tianfeng Plains, Lu Ming and the others wouldn't even know how they died, so the Divine Dragon Valley couldn't avenge them. It was normal for them to die in a forbidden area. The 2 of you from the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect, this has nothing to do with you. You can leave now. The white-haired elder from the Celestial Sect looked at Emo Yang and Xian Yinqing. Okay, we'll leave immediately. Emo Yang said hurriedly. No, I won't leave. Xian Yinqing shook her head and stood beside Lu Ming with a determined look in her eyes. Junior sister, what are you doing? Lu Ming is so bold that he offended the Celestial Sect and the Poison Desire clan. He's courting death, so why are you accompanying him? Emo Yang roared with jealousy. If you want to leave, leave by yourself. This is my own life, so I choose it myself. Xian Yinqing said coldly. No, you're my junior sister, the holy maiden of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. If something happens to you, how am I going to explain it to the master and the entire heavenly universe demon sect. I must take you away, Mo Yang said firmly. Little Qing, leave. Lu Ming spoke at this moment. No, I want to stay with you. Xian Yinqing shook her head with a determined look in her eyes. She knew that Lu Ming was doing this for her own good, but she wouldn't leave. Whoosh. At this moment, Mo Yang made his move, grabbing Xian Yinqing's shoulder. The power of law poured in and sealed Xian Yinqing's cultivation. He then grabbed Xian Yinqing and quickly retreated. Mo Yang, let me go. Xian Yinqing roared. I won't let you go. I won't let you die with Lu Ming. Mo Yang said coldly, grabbing Xian Yinqing and retreating from the encirclement. Attack! As soon as Mo Yang and Xian Yinqing retreated, the white-haired elder from the celestial god sect roared. A long spear appeared in his hand, exuding a terrifyingly sharp aura as he thrust it towards Lu Ming. Without a doubt, this was a saint weapon. Voila! A pair of black wings appeared behind Lu Ming's back. At the same time, a saint artifact shield appeared in front of him. Clang! The long spear struck the sacred artifact shield and sent it flying. Following that, the long spear did not stop and struck the black wings. Lu Ming felt his entire body tremble as he was sent flying by a terrifying force. On the other side, Tian Shui and Xuanixin used their saint weapons at the same time. However, the half-saint on the other side also made a move. He also used a saint weapon and was extremely powerful. Tian Shui and Xuanixin were no match for him. Like Lu Ming, they were blown away and almost vomited blood. We can't stay here and fight. Let's go. With a flap of the black wings, Lu Ming appeared beside Tian Shui and Xuanixin and said. This time around, it was obvious that the Heavenly Divinity sect and the Poison Desire sect had come prepared. The three half-saints all possessed sacred armaments. There were even a few cultivators of the 9th layer of the Martial Emperor realm who possessed sacred armaments. Their battle prowess was extremely powerful. Bubble! Lu Ming called out. Chirp chirp! Bubble waved its little paws, and a space-time passage appeared. The three of them were about to cross the space-time passage and leave. You want to leave? Dream on! The other half-saint from the celestial god sect shouted coldly. With a wave of his hand, a large cauldron expanded to the size of a mountain and pressed down on the space-time passage, blocking their way. Let's rush out and head towards the Desire Poison sect. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Tian Shui and Xuanixin. Although the Desire Poison sect's poison gas was very powerful and could kill without leaving a trace, its offensive power was far inferior to the celestial god sect's. Since the space-time passage was blocked, they could only rush out from the Desire Poison sect's direction. Kill! Tian Shui roared. The three of them gathered together and controlled their saint weapons to charge towards the Desire Poison sect. Whoosh! Whoosh! All kinds of attacks came at them from the side. Lu Ming controlled his saint weapon shield and black wings to defend the three of them. Dong! Dong! All kinds of attacks landed on Lu Ming's shield and black wings, causing a loud explosion. Lu Ming's body shook and his blood boiled. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Kill! 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 Tian Shui roared madly, and Xuanixin roared. The two of them worked together and charged forward. Their combat strength was indeed shocking. Unless one was a half-saint, no one would be able to stop them. Several Desire Poison sect cultivators were blasted apart by Tian Shui's giant hammer and turned into poison gas. The three of them worked together and charged in that direction. They were about to break out of the encirclement. Poison Vine Law Coil. The half-saint of the Desire Poison sect was surrounded by surging poisonous aura. He shouted loudly and pressed his hands against the void. Whoosh! Countless poisonous vines suddenly appeared in the void. Each of the poisonous vines was covered with barbs. They covered the sky and the sun, shrouding Lu Ming and the other two. Not good. Lu Ming's expression changed. These poison vines were formed from the Poison Vine Law. They were filled with poison and were extremely tough. Tian Shui and Xuanixin's attacks landed on the poison vines, but were unable to break them. The poison vines enveloped the three of them from all directions, quickly closing in. Whoosh! The black wings expanded and enveloped the three of them, forming a sphere. In the next moment, the Poison Vine Law arrived and wrapped around the sphere formed by the black wings. Sizzle! Sizzle! The poison vines wrapped around the black wings and emitted ear-piercing sounds. However, the black wings were a saint weapon, and the poison vines could not break them. Even the lowest level Ming Sheng weapon was not something that a half-saint expert could break. Only a saint realm expert could forcefully break a half-saint weapon. What's the use of hiding in a tortoise shell? Let's see if your sacred weapon will be able to protect you in that tornado. The half-saint of the Desire Poison sect spoke coldly. He controlled the poisonous vines and flew toward one of the tornadoes. When it neared one of the tornadoes, the half-saint of the Desire Poison sect slapped his palm, and the poisonous vines that were wrapped around Lu Ming and the rest flew directly into one of the tornadoes. Lu Ming! Xian Yinqing roared in the distance as she struggled frantically. However, she was held tightly by Emo Yang and could not move. Haha! Lu Ming, no matter how strong you are, you will still die if you go against the Celestial God sect. Yusheng laughed. Whoosh! Whoosh! The tornado whistled, and was extremely shocking as it slowly moved toward the depths of the Tianfeng Plains. The people of the Celestial God sect and the Desire Poison sect watched from the outside for a while. When they saw that there was no movement, they left one after another. Emo Yang, let me go! Xian Yinqing roared. Her beautiful eyes were bloodshot and filled with cold murderous intent. Junior sister, what are you doing? Lu Ming and the others have been sent into the tornado. They are dead for sure, and they deserve it for offending the Celestial God sect and the Desire Poison sect. Emo Yang sneered, but his heart was wild with joy. Lu Ming is finally dead. Xian Yinqing should give up now. Emo Yang, let me go. Otherwise I will fight you to the death. At this moment Xian Yinqing had calmed down. However, her body was filled with a bone-chilling murderous intent, which made Emo Yang feel an inexplicable chill in his heart. Humph bitch. Anyway, Lu Ming is already dead. In the future, I will definitely make you loyal to me. Emo Yang thought to himself as he gritted his teeth and let go of Xian Yinqing. Chapter 1578. Xian Yinqing's cultivation had been restored, but her gaze was even colder. She looked at Emo Yang and said, Emo Yang, you are really despicable. You actually colluded with the Celestial sect and the Poison clan to assassinate Lu Ming. You are indeed worthy of being one of the top 10 evildoers in the Zhangzhou. Her words were full of mockery. Junior sister, what did you say? Emo Yang's face changed slightly, and he revealed an ugly smile. What did I say? You dare to do it, but you don't dare to admit it? How did the Celestial sect and the Poison clan know where we are? Moreover, they were able to set up an ambush here so precisely. If it wasn't someone who tipped them off, then what was it? You deliberately looked for us before, and then you were with us to tip us off, right? Xian Yinqing said coldly. She was smart enough to think that meeting Emo Yang was purely a coincidence, but now that she thought about it, she knew that everything had been arranged by Emo Yang. Junior sister, don't slander me. Emo Yang's face was cold. You know best whether you did it or not. I'm warning you, don't follow me anymore. Otherwise I will kill you. Xian Yinqing said coldly. She then moved and flew toward the tornado that Lu Ming and the others were in. Bitch. Sooner or later, I will make you beg for mercy in front of me. Looking at Xian Yinqing's back as she left, Emo Yang's eyes were full of malevolence, as well as a dense and scorching evil desire. Xian Yinqing came outside the tornado that Lu Ming had entered and watched from afar. Whoosh! The tornado whistled and slowly moved toward the Tianfeng Plains. Xian Yinqing followed the tornado and moved inside. After half a day, Xian Yinqing's face changed. This was because many tornadoes had appeared in front of them. This tornado had actually merged with the other tornadoes. Many tornadoes had appeared there, blocking Xian Yinqing's path forward. Lu Ming, you have the mountain and river diagram. The mountain and river diagram is something that can only be refined by an emperor-level powerhouse. It should be able to block the power of the tornadoes. Xian Yinqing whispered. Even so, her eyes were still full of worry. She stood there for a long time until Lu Ming's tornado was completely out of sight. Only then did she leave. As Lu Ming and the others were thrown into the tornadoes, the terrifying wind howling and spinning, they were constantly cutting the poisonous vines outside. The poisonous vines were formed from the power of laws and were incomparably tough. However, in the gale they were quickly cut apart and turned to ashes. Sizzle! The fierce wind sliced the black wings, causing sparks to fly in all directions. The black wings trembled unceasingly as they emitted an ear-piercing sound. Damn it, we've been blasted into a tornado, Tian Shui roared. What? We. Xuanixin frowned. Dong. Chapter 1579. Tornadoes surrounded the area, and there was no way out. Lu Ming waved his hand, and Tian Shui and Xuanixin came out of the mountain-river diagram. Junior brother, where are we? As soon as Tian Shui appeared, a giant hammer appeared in his hand, and he looked around. We should be in the depths of the Tianfeng Plains, surrounded by tornadoes, Lu Ming said. Oh, Tian Shui and Xuanixin looked around, and when they saw that there was no danger, they breathed a sigh of relief. Damn it! I'll kill anyone from the Celestial God sect and the Desire Poison clan when I see them in the future. But how did they find us before? They even ambushed us there. Tian Shui cursed. It must be Mo Yang. He colluded with the Celestial God sect and the Desire Poison clan. That's why we were ambushed. Xuanixin said. Senior sister is right. It wasn't a coincidence that Mo Yang met us. He deliberately found us and then ambushed us. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming had thought of this when they were ambushed by the Celestial God sect and the Desire Poison clan. Therefore, he let Mo Yang take Xian Yinqing away, because he knew that Xian Yinqing would not be in danger if Mo Yang took Xian Yinqing away. Mo Yang. It's him. I'll crush him sooner or later. Tian Shui said with a murderous look. Lu Ming nodded. He would kill Mo Yang sooner or later. This area is surrounded by tornadoes. There must be something unusual. Let's check it out nearby. Lu Ming said. Tian Shui and Xuanixin nodded, and the three of them went forward to check the area. The area was quite wide, spanning dozens of miles. What's that over there? It seems to be feathers. Xuanixin suddenly pointed forward. The three of them rushed over, and found that the ground was full of holes, and some feathers were scattered. These are phoenix feathers. Lu Ming was shocked. He had gotten a few phoenix feathers before, so he would never be mistaken. The feathers scattered on the ground were all phoenix feathers. There were more than a dozen of them. They really are phoenix feathers. It seems that there is a divine phoenix living in the Tianfeng Plains. Tian Shui said. Senior brother, senior sister, the phoenix feather is very useful to me. I don't know if you can give it to me. I'm willing to use other treasures to offset it. Lu Ming said. He could let his second body refine the phoenix feather flying sword. Previously, there were only 5 phoenix feather flying swords, and the phoenix feathers used in those 5 phoenix feather flying swords were not of a very high level. However, the phoenix feathers in front of him exuded a faint saintly aura. Clearly, they were left behind by a saintly phoenix. If they were refined into phoenix feather flying swords, they would be even more powerful. Furthermore, the more phoenix feather flying swords there were, the more powerful the sword formation would be. Junior brother, what are you saying? If you have a use for it, just take it all. A figure was sitting cross-legged in the blood pit. Eden. Lu Ming was shocked. That figure was actually Eden from the Divine Ruins Continent group. Lu Ming had a deep impression of this person. This person's bloodline was a Phoenix Guqin. He could play the divine tune of the Phoenix, and was very powerful. Eden was actually able to enter this place. At this moment, Eden was sitting cross-legged in the blood pit. The blood in the blood pit turned into phantoms of phoenixes and entered Eden's body. The blood was obviously the blood of the phoenix. Lu Ming, do you know this person? Tian Shui asked. Yes, he came from the same continent group as me. He was a peerless genius in our continent group and later joined the Celestial Sect. Lu Ming said. Someone from the Celestial Sect? Tian Shui's eyes emitted a cold, murderous intent. However, Eden was completely unaware of the outside world. He was fully focused on absorbing the blood of the phoenix. Bang! A moment later, an illusionary figure of a phoenix flew out from Eden's body. After letting out a cry, Eden's aura skyrocketed. Fifth layer martial dominator realm. It was obvious that Eden's cultivation had broken through to the fifth layer martial dominator realm. At this moment, Eden opened his eyes. When he saw Lu Ming and the others, his eyes widened, and he quickly backed away. Lu Ming, it's you? Soon after, Eden let out a cry of surprise, as if it was in disbelief. Of course it's me. Why don't you recognize me? Lu Ming said with a smile. Eden pondered for a moment before saying, Lu Ming, I've already left the Celestial Sect. Oh, Lu Ming raised his eyebrows. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.